The Kanye West civil trial is set to begin today in Los Angeles at 10 a.m. PST. I'm going to break everything down for you right here. And just a warning, unfortunately, this trial is not going to be televised. I so wish it would. But a man, a former employee of Kanye West, or Ye, Tony Saxon is his name. He is suing Kanye West for upwards of $1 million, and he is claiming that he worked in very dangerous conditions at Kanye West's Malibu beachfront home, and he was fired in retaliation for something. He wasn't paid what he was owed, and so he filed this lawsuit in 2023, and he has waited 2 years per his attorneys. And I will read you a statement that I got from his attorney as well. And all of this is really interesting to me because Kanye West has a lot of civil suits piling up. And the attorneys that are representing Tony Saxon, this ex-employee, is the West Coast trial team, or West Coast trial lawyers. And one of those attorneys is Nima Rahmani. And if you watch this channel, you'll know that, I have Nima comment on a lot of cases. He is in Los Angeles. I've been on different shows with him, and he's just really good at what he does. And so he pointed out to me that Kanye West has actually settled the last 3 civil cases. And in terms of this case, he hasn't really been super present. So I'm wondering here, is there a chance that they show up to court tomorrow and Kanye's like, or his lawyers are like, nope, he didn't want to come in. We're just gonna to settle this. And I say this also because I don't understand, and you'll see why. I just don't understand sometimes these people like Kanye West who claim to have lots of money. And I mean, Kanye West, I think his net worth is somewhere around $400 or $500 million, but he has actually claimed to be a billionaire. Like, these are like his words saying, I'm a billionaire. I have billionaire status. Okay, cool. Well, you can't pay your employees, and it looks like the conditions that this guy was working in, they weren't so great. So I did reach out to Kanye West's lawyers as well. I have not heard back yet. If I hear back, I will be updating the article that I wrote, and you can click that from it's right inside the episode notes. But yeah, let's get to it, to exactly what went down. And this is 2021 that this whole thing started, I guess. But basically, Kanye West bought this Malibu beachfront home for $57 million in 2021, and he wanted the whole thing to be gutted. So he hired Tony Saxon to sort of just oversee everything. So he was actually a project manager, he was a full-time security guard, and he also was this live-in caretaker that was responsible for all of the demolition, and he had to coordinate all the contractors and just protect the property around the clock. So according to Saxon, he was working for up to 16 hours a day while also providing 24-hour security and just construction at this Malibu residence. Now, one thing he said was in the lawsuit that he was forced to sleep in horrible conditions. And he called them actually makeshift conditions in the lawsuit. And also, if you want to click out to my article, you will see that I actually, you know what? I'm not going to put the article in the episode notes just yet. Maybe I will update it as the day goes on, because I do want to see if there is a chance that they settle. But anyway, he was sleeping in these awful conditions. He called them makeshift, and it was in this partially demolished home. So let me actually show you a photo of what he was sleeping in. I mean, imagine. And look, I don't know if they discussed the conditions before he took this job. And, Kanye said, or Ye said, yeah, it's not going to be anything great because obviously we're in the middle of tearing down this home. But yeah, here you go. Either way, he Saxon said this was not safe. This was definitely a hazard. And yeah, not great. So the complaint goes on to say that Ye promised to pay him $20,000 a week, but only paid him once. And he was doing intense labor and had all of these crazy management duties where, again, he was working 16 to basically 24 hours a day. And he said he repeatedly notified Kanye West about these unpaid wages. And he also would say, you know, we also have vendor invoices, expenses related to the construction. And Kanye really just didn't seem to care. I also wonder why he wasn't going through an assistant or someone else, why he was going directly to Kanye West for a lot of this stuff. I would assume Kanye West does have an assistant, but at this point, who knows, because his life has been a bit different as of late. I don't want to necessarily say that he spiraled, but I guess I should say that he has spiraled over the last couple of years, but I also recognize that he has a medical condition. He's schizophrenic, and he actually recently apologized for his behavior and some of the offensive things that he has said in the last couple of years. But he got a lot of heat because he had just an album or some new songs coming out. So people were like, yeah, no, I don't really buy that he meant that, because yeah, he was doing it for PR and for a reason. So anyway, Saxon claims that Ye ignored his warnings and continued to just demand progress on the home. And again, when I say warnings, he would also tell him that he is concerned. Saxon was concerned because the demolition practices that some of the guys on the scene were engaging in were just really unsafe. And I can try to find a video in 1 second. I had one pulled up with the sleeping arrangements. Let me show you. What do I know?
Yeah, just keep slowly as she goes. That's what we want. Ready as she goes.
Why is no one wearing any sort of protective gear?
It's coming down.
This is crazy.
It's break loose right now. Maybe we should get control at the bottom.
It's breaking loose. We should secure the bottom.
Okay. Let me stop for now so I can go on. Actually, I will just remove this from the screen and bring myself back up. Okay, so in 2021, Saxon alleged that he suffered a severe back injury while working at the property and told Ye that he needed time off to recover. So instead of providing accommodations or saying, oh yeah, no problem, you've been working very hard, Kanye allegedly continued to demand updates and press Saxon to continue with the demolition work, including the removal of electricity and windows from the home while the construction was still incomplete. And so Saxon said that, yes, during a meeting, and this meeting was allegedly on November 5th, 2021, Ye said, yeah, you have to carry out everything that I say you have to carry out, even though Saxon said, no, these are huge safety risks. And he even cited that Kanye wanted him to place generators inside the home, or the structure, I guess you could call it a structure at the time, because it's not exactly a home. And Saxon's like, no, if I do this now, it'll create fire hazards. So he said, I refuse to comply. I can't do this. It's not safe. And he was immediately fired by Kanye West. So the lawsuit alleges that Saxon was terminated in retaliation for reporting these safety concerns, requesting medical accommodations, and then seeking payment for the work performed. He also says that Ye misclassified him as an independent contractor and failed to pay him for overtime, reimburse him for certain expenses, and provide accurate wage statements. So the comment that I received from Nima Rahmani, again, one of his attorneys, let me pull this up. He said, quote, Tony has been waiting 2.5 years for his day in court, and he's looking forward to telling his story to a jury. This is the first time Ye will be testifying in a courtroom. All of his previous cases have settled. The public will be able to draw their own conclusions as to who is telling the truth. end quote. So this is, again, really interesting. And I'll add again that he has faced multiple lawsuits in recent years tied to business operations and employment matters. And I just, again, I have to wonder, for this case in particular, will Kanye show up? Will he show up at court? Will he take the stand after all? Will this be a full trial? Again, unfortunately, it's not going to be televised, but I mean, there's a chance Kanye wakes up tomorrow and he's like, nah, he just seems like that kind of guy. And I guess I'm not really saying that because of his mental illness. I'm just saying that because he just seems like he's kind of like, he does what he wants. He's a celebrity. He's used to getting what he wants. So sure, maybe he's like, okay, we're just going to settle. I'm not doing this. We'll wait and see. And I will add the article that I wrote to the episode notes a little bit later on in the day. I want to make sure I have all the quotes. I have everything accurate if he does settle. And thank you all for being here. I hope you found this helpful. I'm Lauren Conlin. And again, thank you for watching Los Angeles Magazine, Pop Culture, Scandals, and Crime News. I'll be back tomorrow.